Let's now move on to the markets, and we'll start our updates with the BRVM. The BRVM 10 index closed trading yesterday up about 0.25% to 217 points. The composite index was up 0.3% to 196 points, and the CFA franc currently trading at 510 to the US dollar. Moving on to Ghana, we saw that market also slightly higher, about 0.2% for the GSC composite to 1,835 points. The GSC financial stock index also closed higher at 1,618 points and moving its year-to-date change to 55%. In Nigeria, of course, the market has been trending up slightly over the last few sessions. Yesterday was still the case. It moved up about 0.4%, closing at 36,400 points. It was driven higher by gains by the likes of CAP, Okomo Oil, International Breweries, Cadbury, and MRS. Let's now move on to Stanbic IBTC, where Idris Toriola is standing by. He is an equity dealer, and he'll be giving us his thoughts on the market direction. Thank you so much, Idris, for joining us on the show today. And
good morning, Wole.
I really want to get your perspective as a trader to get a sense of where the demand is going. Maybe we should start with the first-tier banks. What's the appetite for the demand of those stocks? Because clearly we've seen quite a few interesting results in that space. UBA, of course, releasing its first quarter numbers, really showing that the bank is back into the black.
Yeah, we've actually seen tremendous interest in most of the first-tier banks. As you like to mention, UBA, when their results came out and they paid the dividend of 50 kobo, we saw the market react positively to this, and the stock has been on the upward trend since then. As well as the likes of First Bank, GT Bank, and Zenith Bank, we've seen tremendous interest in them. We see some profit taking in these names, and after a while, they stabilize at a point and return back upwards. For instance, in GT Bank, GT Bank has been able to give us a level of 2580. Once it touches that level, we see it going back, as well as Zenith Bank at 2050. We see the market turn around when it gets to that level. So we've actually seen tremendous interest in those names.
Right, and the tier 2 names, we've seen quite a few interesting results in that space, and of course there's been a lot of news about capital raising from the likes of Diamond Bank and Fidelity Bank. Is that also attracting some interest?
Yeah, looking at Diamond Bank, when their result came out and there was no corporate action really announced by the bank, the market was quite disappointed, and we saw a massive sell down in the stock, and it went as low as 5 naira 50 kobo. But afterwards, we've seen tremendous demand in Diamond Bank, and it has traded as high as 710, and it closed at 692 yesterday. So it shows that investors are actually happy with these banks, even as they intend to raise capital. Looking at Fidelity as well, it declared a dividend of 21 kobo, and it's still trading above 3 naira. What we've seen in the market is they are interested in these names, and investors have confidence in them.
All right, if we move on to the insurance space, many people say it's a bit speculative, it's difficult to get huge volume, so liquidity is a risk if you're playing in that space. Can you talk us through the demand we're seeing? More so because we're seeing a few of the consumer names pretty pricey now, so some investors may be looking for new options.
Looking at the insurance, we still see a lot of them trading at par value, but some major talks between some of them, looking at Crusader and Custodian, has really helped them. We can see Crusader has been up over 10% year to date. I mean, Custodian has been up over 10% year to date, and this shows that something good should come out of the merger. Mansard has also been up this year. So looking at some of them that have been doing well, they've been doing quite well in the market. And in the consumer space as well, we've seen them rally to a high level, and we still see tremendous demand in these names. Flour mills, we see demand in flour mills, UACN as well in the market.
Right. What about the likes of Nigerian breweries and Guinness? Their numbers obviously haven't thrilled investors. What we've seen in the first quarter, and in the case of Guinness for the 9 months.
Yeah, looking at Guinness, the number wasn't really attractive, but from our space, looking at the market as well, we still see demand in it, and it closed at 275, trading yesterday flat. The investors are still buying into this name because they believe in improved earnings coming out of this bank. And Nigerian breweries have really done well this year, and it's trading at about, it closed at 174.50. Investors keep demanding for these names, and because they believe that at the end of the day, the earnings they will post and their numbers, the profitability will be great.
They're still staying in that space. I think another 2 names that, of course, have thrilled investors recently with their results are UAC and Dangote Sugar Refinery. So talk us through the demand you're seeing for those stocks.
Looking at UACN, we see demand in the market at 70 and above 70 levels. The stock is quite volatile. we see it trade up to 70, and it has traded as high as 78 this year, and it has traded as low as we've seen it trade below 70 as well. But what we see constantly in this name is there are continuous demand coming out on these names in Dangote, in UACN and Dangote Sugar.
Right, okay, two stocks in the cement space that I think also have thrilled investors with respect to their results are Lafarge Wapco and Dangote Cement. Talk us through the demand we're seeing for those ones.
Looking at Dangote Cement, Dangote Cement is up about over 40% year to date, and looking at it, the demand is tremendous on Dangote Cement. It's trading as high as 180 naira, and for a long time it was really quiet and the price was stable. But but as it is now, we've actually seen investors looking at Dangote Cement because they believe that by the time they get to their full capacity, and by the time they utilize their full capacity, the earnings should grow from Dangote Cement, and we should expect good numbers from them. WAPCO has also been very impressive. We saw it trade as high as 104 naira yesterday in the market, though it closed at 95, 91. It shows that there's a lot of demand in cement in the country, and we expect a lot of construction works to go on in the country, and this will definitely stipulate ginger demand in this name, and I believe they should be able to meet up with the supply and grow their earnings.
All right, I'll be talking about this talk in a little bit, but UAC Properties, in the real estate sector, results not pretty exciting, but of course we know that they've done a public offering recently. So talk us through the demand for that space, for that stock in particular.
Looking at the UAC Properties and the public offer they did, the offer was quite successful. They aware that there was significant subscription in the offer. And looking at UAC Property, you see, UAC Property seems to be the market leader in the real estate business. And looking at the number of properties they have and in prime areas, we expect them to generate good positive earnings from their properties, and as well pay shareholders good dividend at the end of the day. So we still see demand in those names.